Honest says, when will the Bart and DR debate happen? I don't know. They're both in the very far time zone. They kind of operate around this time, so I'm thinking I can get them on around this time. Maybe set it up for like Wednesday, perhaps. I need to set the ground rules. This isn't just going to be any normal debate. It's going to take some homework and some research. I'm going to have to actually put forth some effort and come up with questions. I could put it out to them and say, hey, you guys come up with the questions, but then it's going to be a lot of back and forth setting it up and agreeing on everything. I think that I can be unbiased enough to ask an appropriate list of questions, and I need to also set up some sort of timer buzzer thing. I've been looking into it so that I can host debates on my channel where I can actually mute people. And because, there's going to, come on, Durin Ryder and Bart K, there's going to be some interjections. So we got to come up with some rules and all that stuff. I can't just throw them in the cage and expect things to work out. That's not going to happen. So I'm taking my time. I'm going to make it legit. Similar, we did a whole science experiment. We had a vegan do 30 days of carnivore on this channel. We're not going to just be hosting debates that will be trash. We need to have some legitimate debates held. Unless I'm talking to Ted Carr or something, then, take the gloves off, baby. Take the gloves off. Eli says, I think that DR and Bart would be a blast. He would be willing to banter with Bart a bit. Yeah, they're going to be a lot of banter. But when it comes down to the scientific questions, maybe we'll have some breaks in the middle or something like that. But I'm thinking of coming up with like a list. And I used to have a list. I should probably read this to you guys. What do you guys think about this? I used to have a list created in case I interviewed a vegan on my channel. And yeah, so I was kind of prepared. And Bart, if you're still there, or, you guys can let me know the feedback on these questions. So this is a vegan interview checklist that I came up with. If I ever was to have somebody on my channel that was a vegan. Number 1, do you acknowledge that there are long-term healthy meat eaters? What makes them different? Number 2, do you acknowledge that there are unhealthy long-term vegans? What makes them different? Why do you think some people are able to better perform on a vegan diet than others? What makes them different to each other? Number 4, what specifically about consuming animal products, disregarding ethical concerns you the most? Number 5, are there any conditions in which you would consider eating animal foods superior to eating plant foods in any way? Number 6, do you consider a 100% whole foods plant-based diet with maybe the addition of B12 and tofu an acceptable long-term diet for all people? Have you ever tried this? Meaning, have you ever actually tried a 100% whole foods plant-based diet, no protein powders, no supplements, besides B12? We'll let them have their B12. Number 7, what are your results without digestive enzymes, any supplementation, or vegan protein powders? Number 8, if you had to design the optimal vegan diet, what would it look like? Number 9, when it comes to raising children on a vegan diet, what are your thoughts? Number 10, how do you feel about fruitarianism or raw veganism? Do you think it creates ex-vegans, even though long-term vegans still exist who have experimented with those things? You guys got to remember, Durin Ryder and Freely both experimented with water fasting, raw veganism, fruitarianism, and the list goes on. They've done it all, and they're still vegan. So why would those things create ex-vegans? That was the big vegan argument for a while, if you guys remember. They've kind of let that go for a bit. And number 11, what are your thoughts on water fasting and juice fasting? And then last, number 12, if you had to estimate how many people who go vegan end up staying vegan for the rest of their life, what is the main reason they quit? So there you go. That's my dirty dozen. That's 12 questions that I would ask any vegan trying to interview on this channel. And I don't see many people comfortably making it through that list of questions. It's basically a gauntlet of death. How can you answer those questions all the way through? And it's not really meant to stump them. They're legitimate questions. I am genuinely interested in seeing the psychology of vegans and why they think the way that they do. I mean, I was a vegan myself, 4.5 years, right? So, like, I get it. I get when you're deep in it, but how can you be seeing all of the latest stuff the past 2 years or so, the people coming out, being ex-vegan, etc., and just completely turning a blind eye to it? You can't think that they're all full of crap, right? You guys are talking about Durian Rider's hair. Listen, the Durian Rider hair, I love it. I love it. It's so funny to me.